Didn't you say you were not going to touch your hair as much on this show?
It's bugging me because the wind is blowing and it's blowing my hair on the porch.
You know what was funny, though, is you just had pigtails.
Uh-huh.
And I'm actually glad you took them out because it made it look...
I look like a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're 40 and a half, so I understand why you're
trying to young it up
about your age.
I'm hungry. Can we do this?
Yes, it's the Krisha and Frank show, and we'll explain our attire a little bit in a minute. I want to talk about the story behind this Tiki Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday on the show, I had pulled out the gift basket that next door neighbor Nancy gave us with peanuts, candy corn. Those are planters. I didn't realize she went.
Yeah, and she went lightly salted, which is key.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought, because I don't know if it's heavily salted. You know what I forgot, Krisha?
What?
Is she gave us a Waffle House gift card.
So
you and I,
you say?
Well, Nancy, next door neighbor Nancy, listens to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're supposed to probably put the stuff in here, but I didn't wash it.
Right.
Plus, it's got a cat on it, and as we discussed yesterday, I'm not a cat person.
You have one though.
I don't have
it's redneck trail mix, so you got to make it in a Ziploc. And if it's a Ziploc that you've washed out and reused, that's even better.
Nancy was worried about the COVID, so I guess she didn't see the episode where we're literally feeding each other chunks of moon pie.
I mean,
but she gave me these
is there
mini round bowls.
Do you know if there's a formula?
No, I do not.
All right, so I'm just gonna do this. Ow, that hurts.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's loud though.
It's very loud. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Here.
You're telling me it's loud and you're over there futzing with a...
Well, now Krisha poured in the salted peanuts, and I'm pouring in the classic...
Candy corn.
All
right.
And we're going to try mixing it together now.
I don't know if I can...
I can do that part. The dexterity part. Explain, in case you missed yesterday's episode, Krisha's got an arm. She's got arm problems.
I've got tendonitis.
You hurt yourself.
I got tendonitis, and it really hurts.
All right, so right now they're still separated.
Yes.
So let me do it over here so it's not quite as loud.
Good Lord.
You know who's going to be jealous?
Oh, Buttons.
But you know what, Buttons? We will eat all of this.
Oh, Buttons.
Long before we see you. Because Buttons makes this similar stuff right around Halloween time. You want a timer? There we go. All right. Krisha took a selfie of us mixing the redneck trail mix. I made that term up, but I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's not mixing well.
Well, I mean, you're right. The peanuts are still a little more separated. Maybe you have to do, like...
Just get mad at it. Ooh.
What?
I gotta tell you, I got mad at the grocery store.
That's so loud, though. I'm gonna have to just set it down.
Should we get a little cup?
I think so. Wait here.
I got mad at the grocery store and I kicked a grocery cart.
You're busy injuring yourself left and right.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna... What is wrong with you?
I was angry.
Were you inside the store, or were you...
I was inside the store and it was somebody else's car.
You know you're not gonna be able to go back to that store.
Beard and Kroger, Bougie Kroger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. That's probably the mildest...
You're allowed to kick a cart there.
Yeah, that's the mildest thing they've seen.
Here we go.
Because, some of the
my
sorority girls who show up at that place
that's whose cart I kicked.
Have attitude. What?
I kicked sorority girls'
cart.
Cart.
I was making a generalization about when you go to that Kroger, how it's laden with the girls who go to Suntan City and then come over. What? And then come over with their. In the summer, it looks like they're not even wearing pants. Yeah. Because they have on a big sweatshirt.
It's called lampshading.
What is that called? Lampshading.
You're wearing shorts that are not too short. But you're wearing short shorts and you're wearing a shirt or a sweatshirt over it. Uh-huh. It's called lampshading.
When you see that,
they're really good.
You see it at that Kroger and you see it at First Watch. There's, it's like, it's like they send out a dress code at First Watch for the girls, and then in the fall, it's good.
It's delicious.
Very good.
Good.
Just good.
Are you ready?
You're gonna hold it up. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. You're gonna hold it up to the camera.
Where is it?
Oh, that's fine.
Look, your head's in it. Got my bowl. Yep. So, yeah.
Thank you, Nancy.
It may be a certain time where I may be a little more irritable.
Oh.
Right?
I think I know.
Right. Let's not pull any punches. I'm 40 and a half, but I still get irritable like I was when I was 22. And I'm at the Kroger, and I'm getting one thing and one thing only, and I'm scooting down like main aisle, right? Like,
is it the thing that
Yeah.
The lady thing?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm reminded of
I'm grumpy as hell.
Well, no, I need to tell you about the lady thing.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going down main aisle.
Okay.
Right? The registers on one side and
okay.
the aisles on the other.
The front
aisle
that goes across the front of the store, not the zippity aisles.
I'm going from entrance to the other side of the store.
I've been there.
And then I'm going out.
I know it.
As I'm scooting that way, it's busy. It's not too busy. I'm scooting that way. These two girls, lampshades, come toward the end of the aisle. Don't even notice that they're moving into traffic, and they run into me. Hit me with their cart. And you know what they hit?
What?
My arm that hurts.
Oh no!
And again, I'm irritable, so I will demonstrate for those of you watching. I am here. The cart is here. They didn't say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry." They just turned and kept moving, and so I went like this, and I kept walking. I was like, and I kicked the bottom of their cart, and then I laughed at myself. I laughed at myself for my grumpiness, and they didn't say a word. They didn't even turn around and look. Nope, yeah,
They didn't call you Karen or anything?
No, but I Karen the hell out of it.
Well, about the lady things. So I was trying to get my wife hooked up with the podcast. Now that Bob and Sherry are dead. I mean, gone. I mean, not dead. No, their show is no longer on in this neighborhood. It's in North Carolina now. Whatever. But anyway, she misses her Bob and Sherry.
Right.
So somehow she decided to activate the Apple Podcasts on her phone and listen to Krisha and Frank. But the old podcast came up.
Oh, okay.
So what we need to do is we need to record a promo that I can put on that feed that says, "Hey, change over to the other one."
Go over there. Yeah.
And I tried to minimize it, hide it, reduce it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to delete it because I still like it.
If it's on the internet, it is on the internet in perpetuity. Trust me.
So, but only the last 3 or 4 episodes are still on there because I stopped paying for the extra storage. I may go in and have to change up which episodes are on there because the one that's on there, my wife listened to it. It was episode 76 of our old podcast.
God, there's no telling.
There is telling because I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. We had completed the whole bit with next door neighbor Nancy. She gave us the trail mix, and my wife Jerry is explaining to Nancy about, we're talking about how Jerry's so brave because I thought she picked up cat poo. Remember, I won't touch poo. But Jerry the Brave, as we learned on the old podcast, will get right in there. I'll touch dead things, which we'll talk about in a moment. But she'll pick up poo. So we go over there the day before Nancy gets home, and she rubber gloves, and she picks up these, what I thought were cat poos, that the cat had missed the litter box and decided to do it at the door where Nancy comes in from the garage. Because she was missed. Meanwhile, the cat was also taken the feathery thing and dragged it through the entire house to put it at the door that I come in.
Because he knows.
To feed the cat.
Right.
So, but anyway, Nancy says, "Oh no, those were not poo. Those were hair things.
Hair balls."
Yeah, but she didn't call them hair balls because they look like poo. They were elongated. But anyway. Yeah. So she was glad that we picked those up. And we get into this conversation. And Jerry's telling Nancy how to find the podcast and explaining that, they're so funny. Krisha is so funny. And she is. She says, I was listening to the last episode of their old podcast, and Frank decides to give Krisha some tampons because... And I just start going like this. I'm just like, stop talking.
I remember this.
Stop talking. I don't know that Jerry had ever listened to it.
Oh my God.
Okay, because the show's been out there for...
Oh my God,
this has been floating on the internet for 2 years.
I have a story related to that, you giving me those.
And Jerry hadn't... listen to that episode because it was still in her queue on Apple Podcasts. So she's now just saying, it was so funny because he tries to give her the tampons and then he remembers that Megan's coming to visit and he tries to take the tampons back. And my wife is just glowing with joy and excitement over this tampon story. And I am just going to stop talking. Please stop talking. Please stop talking.
Because that's a real thing that happened. And who took the tampons? I did. Sorry,
Yes, because I found them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I'm assuming Megan had left them here. Somebody had left them here. And I'm like, well, I need to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, who do I know who might still apparently use them? And you were grumpy, so whatever.
Yeah, you're grumpy. And they were my car stash.
And you run out finally?
In case of emergency.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Now we're talking about awkward things. Bone zones. Don't forget
Jerry, in the old podcast, we were in a motel up in the D.C. area, and it was clogged, and I couldn't handle it. And Jerry gets in there with a big gulp straw and fixes the problem. And I'm like, this is disgusting. However, when something dies, I'm right there. Jerry wasn't sure that something smelled dead in the garage. And we're pulling out
a little mousy or something.
We thought, and I got the whole freezer pulled out. I'm looking for something that has crawled under the freezer, and I can't find anything. And then finally I look over, and there's a dead rabbit that has apparently walked into. I know, I guess it must have gotten injured in the wild, and hid in the garage, but didn't make it, and just died. So Jerry's freaked. It's the opposite scenario. I'm like, oh, I got this.
Hello.
And I go over there and I just deal with the death because of my experience with Dr. Bill Bass and Bone Zones. I'm comfortable with it. I'm not afraid of it.
Bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
So when you go, as you can see, there's all sorts of merchandise, and
I'm just gonna keep eating this peanut.
That's okay.
Okay.
We've been contacted by a couple of people lately who are asking, "Oh, can Dr. Bass do a free appearance on the Zoom for somebody on upstate New York?" And I'm like, well, he doesn't. He's 92,
right?
And he doesn't exactly Zoom, so it would end up being me anyway.
He doesn't exactly Zoom.
So I wrote back to this guy, like, dear Dr. Bauer, I think it was. No, Dr. Bass is 92. He doesn't Zoom, so we can't exactly do a free lecture for your class. But once we get back to the live paid lectures, maybe we can incorporate some of your students' questions, and we're going to make some recordings. Blah blah blah. All these things that we're going to plan, and you'll learn about that first at bonezones.com. And you'll be able to buy the merchandise that we would sell if these appearances were going on. So as soon as one is on the calendar, and as soon as everyone's safe and comfortable, boom, we're going to be right back to it before Dr. Bass turns 93.
Yeah. Well,
that's his thing. He's August.
Okay.
He's an extrovert, so he those things keep him energized.
Well, yeah.
So we want to keep him working. If you catch my drift.
He's one of those people like my granny. She's 93 and she's got to stay busy.
Yeah. That's why she eats the Little Debbie's.
That's all she eats. Excuse me, I got pins in my teeth.
Buttermilk and Little Debbie's.
She drinks buttermilk and eats Little Debbie's.
That would be a show where we could have to try to work our way through a jug of buttermilk and a tray of Little Debbie's.
I mean, I'll do it, but ooh, buddy.
No, but I noticed I have to cut down on the carbs. I've been trying.
Yeah, well, I don't. I don't care.
Well,
I just don't care.
You're different.
Well,
you and I are not the same.
But here's the thing. This year has taught me I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. If I want to eat some sugary goodness, I'm going to eat some sugary goodness. I'm going to live like my 93-year-old granny right now. I'm not going to wait till I'm 93.
Well, it is a time with pandemic and all the things where folks are trying new things.
Yeah.
So, notice I wore my Tiki Joes.
Love that sweatshirt.
So do I, because it's so light. It's actually for the beach.
It's so great, and I love the colors.
It's just warm enough that you can wear it on a summer night on Long Island, New York. And that's where we were. We were at this place called Tiki Joes. They had some kind of... I was Googling. We were up there for vacation. I guess it was 2 years ago. And they had some band that was kind of like a mixture of... I mean, I'm trying to remember what he was kind of a tribute band, but it was a little bit of the Brian Setzer and a little bit of the Bon Jovi, and just kind of that New Yorky. Yeah. Like the guy's been on Howard Stern, whoever he is. That's kind of his claim to fame, is he's frequently on the Howard Stern show. Right. But anyway, they were great, and I wanted to go see them, and I fell in love with Tiki Joes because it's right there on the bay at Meshut, some weird Indian name beach that I can't pronounce. Sorry. And the sun sets over the Peconic Bay, perfect. And the music's going, and the drinks are good, and everything's nice, and I love it because I used to go to Long Island, New York. Right. That was where I would go on vacation every year. Go to the beach, go to Sag Harbor and Southampton and all the nice fancy places that are now where the rich people now go. But back then, but we still go. So my Aunt Grace has a place. She lives on Long Island, but then they have a little summer place they've had for 60 years, 50 years, whatever it's been, out in near Sag Harbor. So she must be on the mailing list for the Bay Street Theater.
Oh, wow.
The Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor, Long Island, New York.
All right.
Anyhow, so she forwards this email.
This is recently.
Oh yeah, this was last week, maybe Thursday.
Okay.
She forwards an email to my sister Alicia, and says, "Here, they're going to have a class, a free online class on Zoom."
Ooh.
And I can Zoom, and she can Zoom. In fact, there were 3 classes, and I'll tell you that and I signed up for 2 of them. The first, out of order, the furthest one away is how to overcome your fear of public speaking.
Okay.
I did not sign up for that one.
I can't imagine you would.
No. Then the next one is...
Although it would be interesting to hear their take on it.
Well, you can sign up for it. It's still 3 months away.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then the one that's going to be in November that I did sign up for is how to write your life story.
Oh.
And I'm already 20,000 words into it, but I may have to, if I learn something better, I'll go back and edit. And then the one that was that night, the one Aunt Grace sends the email to Alicia. It says there's room in the class tonight. I guess they didn't fill it up, and so Alicia forwards it to me, thinking I'd be more interested in it than her. And I took the class, and I received a certificate of completion.
Improving your life with improv. How'd it go?
Well,
presented by AARP Long Island and the Bay Street Theater. Lifelong learning series.
So everybody, is old in the thing, right?
Like, isn't it too late to improve your life if you're in the AARP?
So there's this one guy, he's asking where people are from, but most of us are muted, but one guy, you hear him say Los Angeles, and I don't know how he got into why he's calling in from Los Angeles. I'm obviously in Knoxville. Most of the people are on Long Island.
Yeah.
One guy at the end says to this actor, this improviser,
there's a bird fight
the
going
crows, on. They must have gotten mad. Says to this actor improviser, can I take more classes? How do I, how could I do that?
How do I do this thing?
And the guy, the improviser, says to him, well, where do you live? And the fella says, Chicago. And I just want to cringe, thinking, you're taking a Zoom class from a... Well, I'll tell you off the air what more detail about the guy.
But if you don't know how accessible improv is and improv comedy
in Chicago,
then you don't know. But you don't know,
right? And so I had the good lighting, and I was like,
I've got my ring light.
I'm like Artie,
I'm yes-anding all over the place. Hello, guys.
So when we do the exercises, I get called on first because of where I am on the grid. He says, so I always had to be first because of where I was on his grid.
It looks different on everybody's grid.
So wherever I was on his grid, it was easier for me to be the first one. So he wants us to do yes and.
Oh, man.
Which is easy.
Right.
Except that he does it a radically different way and I'm grinding my gears because I've been doing improv actually longer than he has.
Okay.
But he doesn't know that.
Right.
And one of the things that the school of improv I'm in is no questions. That's verboten. You don't ask questions. But he wants every...
At least when you're learning, like when you're coming up.
So, but he wanted us to finish every yes-and statement with a yes-no question for the next person to be able to say yes and to.
Okay.
So I'm grinding my gears because I'm just throwing stuff out there for them to go any open-ended stuff. And he stops me. No, that was an open-ended question. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I'm like, okay. So I played along nice. But it was like I felt, and he said, well, it's okay. You guys had to go first, so now everybody else will be able to do it. And I'm like, okay. Embarrassment, but... grinding my gears. But then finally later, the next 2 exercises were one word at a time story and the alphabet ABC game.
Right.
Which, I'm like, home run.
Right. But I like that it grinded your... I like that it was grinding your gears because that's the
beauty of it.
It's lifelong learning.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my sister never turned on her video, never unmuted her mic.
I'm going to watch Frankie do his thing.
She sent me, I said later, did you... enjoy the class? She said, yeah, you did great. I'm like, well, no, but what did you get out of it?
It was a show for me, Frankie. I don't know. Was I supposed to get something out of it?
Yeah, I mean,
This is your thing. This is what you do.
Because some people were doing it just to improve their interpersonal relationships.
Right.
So
why would I turn my camera on? I have what?
So I said, well, she did acknowledge that it was listening skills were one of the key things that the guy mentioned.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, I got a certificate, and the guy has a show on Amazon Prime that I watched.
Who is he?
He's a guy named Scott Baker, and he created his own little show on Amazon Prime, and it looks really like he filmed it with a phone. Where he was a former cop, so he does a show about cops, and it's mostly improvised.
Oh, cool.
And very New York, and it's not bad.
Scott Baker.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
But he is kind of self-taught on the improv side of things. He was doing stand-up, and you can see that some of that's why he's got a different philosophy, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I love about going to like improv festivals.
That's why I take classes, because everyone's got a different philosophy, and yes, you have to grind your gears a lot. Like at the musical improv, man, was I grinding my gears on that one.
Yeah, and no, that's what I love about it is once you're like, okay, cool, I got this. But there's always something that you could change, and just one little tweak makes your brain go, ooh. But then you have discovery from that, which is the best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
So this all ties together. Long Island, Tiki Joe, the Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor, Long Island, New York.
Were you hoping that your sister would like?
Well, Aunt Grace didn't send it to me.
Right.
Aunt Grace sent it to my sister, thinking that maybe my sister would
enjoy it
or use the skills somehow. So maybe this could open up a lane of conversation now for my sister and me, because the whole time she was caring for Mom, it was always, one of those things where she would hand the phone to Mom, but then she'd be talking in the background.
Right.
Tell him this, tell him that. And then my mom would hand her back the phone, and she'd be like, and my mom would start, tell him this, tell him that. God. So it was always weird.
Yeah.
And God bless Mom, may she rest in peace. But since then, my sister and I have been able to have more civilized conversations, especially when we do FaceTime or Zoom.
Right.
It's gotten a lot more relaxed, a lot more natural. So
that's good.
This is something that we have in common we can talk about.
Yeah, so maybe she can jump in the next class.
Oh, yeah.
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 That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be funny, though, the Overcoming Your Fear of Public Speaking class. Or should I take that one?
I kind of want to.
All right, I'll send you the link.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what I get from it.
I'll send you the link.
Oh, man. Right. We got to get out of here.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for watching and listening. Thanks to Bone Zones for renewing your sponsorship of the Krisha and Frank Show. If you'd like to advertise on the show, send an email to krishaandfrank@gmail.com. And if you don't have that kind of money, but you just want to send us $1 so we can buy more candy corn or whatever else I got over there. I have grapes, apples.
Look, he sets up craft services every podcast.
So I need a couple of dollars for that. If you want to send us a gift card or whatever, you can do that also. Just PayPal us at krishaandfrank@gmail.com. We appreciate it.
I'm going to Vanna White on out of here.
Yeah, and send us some more advertisers along the way, because we're going to keep going. We made a plan, We made a plan.
Yeah, and the tampon donations have dried up, so... All right, well...